I told him this time. John. Other chairs over here. Yes. Come on. Yeah, 4 minutes. It looks better with the students. I was like, where are they? It was 6:57.
I just remember they telling us that trip. I was like, that's a cool story.
I told them.
I'm on doing something here.
Where's the water? Well, that's going to be drunken.
That's
Where's the short?
Yep. I'm looking at my computer. Call to order the Kearney Organized School District School Board. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Meredith Cole. Here. Brian Ham.
Here.
Dan Holloway.
Here.
John Kern.
Here.
Bree Schweitzer. Here. Susan Mormon.
Here.
Darlene Bailey.
Here. We have a quorum.
Move that the agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
No. All in favor? Forget that. Okay. We have no public comment this
Correct.
evening. All right. Recognitions. We're very excited to have both the boys and girls track teams here. Our newest state champion. Congratulations, boys. And third place for our ladies. So I know know you all are having a busy summer, but probably still running. I see you out there running every day, so that's awesome. But we want to take a few minutes to recognize each of you individually, so I'm going to call up your coaches to say a few words about each of the programs, and then we'll have some certificates to hand out.
After last season, when we finished 9th at the state meet, basically because of a very successful 4x4 right at the end of the meet, I had this feeling that there was going to be a lot of special things happen with this group of girls. Got a lot of the girls back from that 21 team, and it turned out to exceed my expectations. I have had more fun. I don't know how many years. I've coached quite a few years, but this is one of the most fun years I've had with a group of girls. They bought in, put in the work, did everything that was asked of them, and basically went into that state meet with no pressure and performed very well. We went from 9th to 3rd, and like I say, 365 days. So, and a lot of them are back next year, so we're hoping good things are going to happen. Starting with our girls, Anna Williams finished 16th in the pole vault. Anna, you want to come on up? Kinsey Cooch isn't with us tonight. She finished 15th in the javelin. Lila Murphy, 15th in the 400. Olivia Brock was 14th in the 1600. Abby Goodman finished 12th in the shot put. Alice Kinsler finished 10th in the 3200. Elizabeth Shaw finished 9th. Allie Pogue was 9th in the discus. In 7th place was our 4x8 800 relay team of Abby Smith, Abby Elam, Lila Murphy, Jaden Barnes, Caitlin Wood, and Gracie Beaumont. Our 4x2 finished in 5th place, Abby Stamper, Ava Lawless, Shelby Singleton, Jaden Barnes, Lily McCullough, and Macy Morrow. Our 4x4 finished in 4th place, Shelby Singleton, Lila Murphy, Addie Davis, Jaden Barnes, Abby Stamper, and Riley Van Emmerich. In 3rd place, Ava Lawless with a school record in the 100 high hurdles. Yeah. Ava also was 2nd place in the long jump, setting the school record a few weeks before that. And we had 2 state champions this year. Jaden Barnes in the 800, and she's knocking on the door with a new school record. We're looking for big things next year out of that. And Ava Lawless in the triple jump was also a state champion. The weekend started on a Thursday evening. We knew we were going to have fun. I was real excited. Wanted to keep things low key, and I think the girls did too, but they went out and they performed. They had a heck of a fun weekend. I had a blast. It was nice to see so many medals come back to Kearney after that meet this year. Our coaching staff is also with us here. We have Richard Haas, Brad Cole. We had a few that couldn't be here tonight with some other commitments that they had. I do believe that coaching staff. Oh, sorry, Rachel, my daughter. I'm sorry. I do feel that our coaching staff is top notch in the state. They don't get any better with the knowledge that we have, and I believe when we counted it up, there's over 250 years of experience combined with that group. I'd also like to thank Dave and Sheila, Brighton in the AD office and the administration, and especially the parents. Parents were big supporters of this team. Got behind them from week 1 on February 29th, and we rolled from there, February 28th. Okay, rolled from there. So that's your 22 girls track team.
For you, so
Girls, if you can kind of arrange
Once you get your
yourselves by altitude.
certificate, yeah, once you
okay?
get your certificate, then I'll arrange Jaden. Gracie. Gracie's not here. Addie Davis.
All the girls in the back.
Abby Neal.
Coach, come on.
Abby Goodman. Alex. Under here. Ava. Lila. Stacy. Holly. Elizabeth Shaw. How many Abby's on this? Riley.
Tighten up, ladies.
You could pull through your certificates, at least for the front row, we can stand. Okay. Yep, yeah. There you go. Yep, yep, good. Okay, big smiles. Hang tight. Awesome. Parents, you're up.
Coach Paul, you're on.
Oh, he brought it.
Dang right. I have not given Mr. Schwarzenbach yet. So, I tell you,
You can pass it around?
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Don't touch it too much. Guys, first off, thank you so much for recognizing these great athletes that we have at Kearney, both our girls team and our boys team. I think it's clear that this is an extremely historic evening, an historic season in which these athletes had. And that cannot be forgotten because like we talked to the boys, you know, and saying, hey, you know, we're going to get together back in about 10, 15 more years, whenever we go to the Hall of Fame as the first state championship track team in Kearney history. So that cannot be taken away by any means. And I tell you what, I couldn't be more proud of the way they are and how they performed. The season itself was a lot of ups and downs as we kind of went through late April. Our kids were getting a little bit tired, and then people were like, oh, you know, I was getting text messages from other coaches and stuff, like, I thought you guys were going to win a state championship. I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. You know, we stuck to our training, we stuck to our philosophy, we stuck to what we do, and that has made both these teams extremely successful, and I couldn't be more proud of being a part of these group of boys, being a part of the Kearney track tradition, which has been built here at Kearney High School in the Kearney School District. And we have a lot of thanks, obviously, to the administration, to the school board, the Kearney community. It's how cool was it whenever we came into town and everybody's on outside, and that was just really neat. you know, I've been a part of that as a football coach. We won a state championship, you know, in this town, but never as a track coach. And I tell you, it was something special. And whenever we got home and seeing those kids come off the bus, holding that trophy and seeing really what they have accomplished, kind of started to hit home for myself and the other coaches. You know, it's like, holy moly, we actually did do this. We did something that was historic. We did something that hadn't been done before. And I'm so proud of these boys and these girls, you know, because they haven't won a state trophy since like 1976. So it's pretty amazing that we get to come home. We've got 2 state trophies, and it was just a lot of fun to enjoy that. So without further ado, I guess that's my list. We got 3 that aren't here because of other arrangements they have. So first off, Logan Ariano. Logan is a 3-time All-State track athlete for us. He's the state champion in the 400 meters. He is also our school record holder in the 400 meters, and he is also a part of the school record in the 4x4, which they shattered at the state meet. We ran 3:23 and got second. That's fast. So it was a phenomenal weekend for Logan and a phenomenal career that Logan had for us at Kearney. Kyle Chappell did compete in the Open 800, and he was all-state in the 4x400 meter relay. That is also a school record that he is a part of. He had a phenomenal year, and we're looking forward to him coming back next year because he's got a lot of good things that he's going to bring to the program next year. Brock Coley. Brock, also part of the 4x4 team that took second in the school record, and also part of the 4x2 team which took 6th at the state meet. Brock is still a youngster. I still got 2 more years to him, so we're going to have a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to having him back. Will Dollner. Will could not make it this evening, but Will tore his ACL in soccer, and he didn't get surgery. He said, "I'm gonna run," and he did. I just couldn't believe it. And you know, he was having a great year, and then he tore his hamstring at districts, but he was still part of our relay teams, and Will's going to be hard to replace too. So Will Dollner, again. Zachary Grace. Zach is also going to be returning. He is a 2-time All-State in the discus. Zach is getting a lot of recognition for a lot of things in which he is doing, you know, but a lot of times he doesn't get recognition for is just being a good kid. So Zach, okay, congratulations on this year, and we're going to look forward to the next couple of years. At least I think he's a good kid. Jake Gregory. He's also part of our 4x400 meter relay team. Jake has been with us ever since from freshman year all the way through. And, you know, ever since I looked him in the eye at conference his freshman year, right before we ran the 4x4, he was scared to death. And he's stuck to me ever since. So, Jake Gregory. Landis isn't here this evening. He was also a part of our 4x4 relay team. Landis is that kid that he's going to William Jewell. He's going to be competing in track at William Jewell, and he's also a young man that has worked his tail off to get to where he is. Ever since his freshman year, he just kept on working and working and working, and he will be sorely missed next year. JoJo Marshall. Joe is part of our 4x4 All-State team and school record, and also was a part of, I guess I should have said, last year's 4x4 state championship team. Okay, but they took second this year. Joe is a part of that group. He's also part of the 4x2, in which he took 6th place in. Again, Joe's going to be coming back next year. as you can tell, there's a lot of these young men that are going to be coming back, and we're going to be relying on their leadership, and especially a kid like Joe Marshall. Grant Nolan. Grant is a freshman, and Grant is a part of our 4x2 team, in which took 6th, and I can't wait to get my meat hooks into him next year as a sophomore, because he's just not going to be running the 200 so far. So it's going to be a lot of fun to have him running around for us for the next 3 years. Luke Nolan. You can, with Luke, you can smile one day and pull your hair out the next. Luke's our state champion in the 110-meter high hurdles. He also took 3rd in the long jump, and I think out of the whole weekend, I was more proud of that jump than all the things that he did, because he had a long weekend. He had to run prelims and 110 hurdles. Then he had to run the open 200 somehow, and he got 6th place in the 200, all-state in the 200, state champion in the 110, takes 6th and being all-state in the 4x2. And, you know, he had tired legs. He had tired legs going to the 3:30 on Saturday afternoon after running all this, and this is his last one. He was able to muster up enough on that last jump to jump over 23 feet and secure our state championship and take 3rd. So, congratulations, Mr. Norman. KJ Smith. KJ's coming KJ also is a 2-time All-State discus thrower. He took 3rd this year. He took 2nd last year. KJ has been the leader of our throwers group. He has always been that guy who gets us going right before we go out to practice. You know, a few years back, old Tommy Altvader started something that kind of continues on, and KJ has been that voice, and his leadership is invaluable. So we're going to be looking for a lot of these juniors to replace him, but it's going to be very difficult to replace. KJ Smith. John Timshat took 2nd in the pole vault. Took 2nd in the pole vault. You know, there are times when I watch him jump and be like, gosh, he's just too loose. He's too loose. He's too squirrely. He's too squirrely. And it worked for him, so I didn't mess with him. So, like, you know, he just had a great meet, had a great season. Couldn't be more prouder than John. Hopefully talking him into walking on up there at Northwest because he loves the vault, and there is so much more that he can do in the vault. So hopefully he will walk on to Kearney, Northwest Missouri State University. And hopefully we'll be able to see him fall and jump again. So again, thank you to everyone for this historic day for our track programs. Thank you to the coaches. You know, a long time ago when I took this job, I said the one thing I got to do is make sure that we keep hiring the best coaches you can for us to get to the level in which we are. And through the support board, Mr. Schwarzenbach, Eric Marshall, and other administrators that has through the years that I've worked with, of you know, recognizing that, and this is what we have. We have a result in which tonight we have a phenomenal night, and thank you all. I'm done.
You grab the trophy.
How about Katie?
Get in there, coach.
Let me get you back. Let me get you back.
All right. One way or the other. Yep, there you go. Okay, good. Big smile, tight. Yeah, that'll work. Parents?
Oh, and today I'm also
Yeah.
celebrating my wedding anniversary tonight.
Oh,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We would like to get a photo of the 4 state champions as well.
So the 4 individual state champions.
Before you go, I need to see you.
And Coach, stand up here for a second while we're getting that picture together. Okay. How many kids do you have total involved in the program?
Girls and boys, or
Girls and
7
boys.
through 12?
Well, yeah, I got, how many boys and girls do you have involved?
I've got 140 girls and boys involved, 7 through 12. We got about 380.
So, these were the best of the best, but Coach and his staff worked really hard for all of our kids. Not just going through the best, but everybody that wants to get better and be part of something. So, you know.
Did you want the coaches?
Yes.
Mark Jr.
Both the coaches get it.
Hey, Coach, you're not taking that on your anniversary dinner, are you?
No, I'm gonna give it up to Mr. Schwarzenbach, so he can put it where it properly needs to be.
How do you want us?
Let's get the 4 kids in front. Let's get you back there.
I'll be good.
Yep. Good? Okay. Good.
And as much as we know you would like to stay, we will not be offended if you leave. Okay? Stay for as long as you like, but do not feel.
Party on
you have
that.
to stay. See you guys. Coach, he's going to celebrate his anniversary. Make sure that.
Thanks, Coach.
Only the homeless and hungry. That we're paying. That's okay. There's not even any Boy Scouts here to get merit badge. Okay, consent agenda?
Move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Information items. Financials?
The May financials are included in your packet. The final year-end financials will be presented at the June 30th board meeting.
And we will have a meeting the morning of June 30th at 7:30 a.m. to close the year out. So, Ginger, thank you to you and your staff for getting this ready. Construction update.
Fast food.
All right. You don't want to be first?
We've been hiding out there.
Oh, here.
Bring the podium over if you'd like.
That's all right.
The wheels don't always collide.
I moved that a lot easier than you are.
Designed that.
I mean, I'm just saying,
User error.
I just say.
All right, good evening, everybody. So I'm here tonight to do a couple things. First one is to present the bid results for the district office refresh. So that's the first project that we're working on, and then we'll give some updates on some of the other things that our team and DLR's team are working on too. So I think everybody should have one of these maybe on the screen, is that right? Or I can browse some hard copy.
It is located G under
approval items?
Okay, so go to maybe the second page with all the numbers on it. So what we did was we took the drawings from DLR Group and we put those out to bid to subcontractors. So as you kind of look down the left side, you'll see different numbering and then different things like steel, general trades, doors. So each one of those is a bid package, and that has a subcontractor that goes along with it. So we also put a bid count kind of in the center column, and then the amount of the low bid on the right. So in general, on a project of this size, we feel really good about the bid coverage. So sometimes when you get a smaller project like this, it's hard to attract people up for some of these scopes that aren't as big as some of the other ones that we're doing in the Kansas City area. But getting 4 bids and 5 bids on some scopes, we averaged like 3 1/3 over the whole group. So we feel really good about that, because anytime you get good bids, your pricing comes in well. Okay? So let's see. You can see all the numbers over on the right side, and then as you kind of work down, we included permits, insurance. We also, after talking with the staff, included some contingency. So on remodel jobs, it's important to have some contingency in there, because you start tearing into walls, there's going to be something that we find inside this space that we weren't expecting. We tried to poke our heads above ceiling and see everything that we could, but we've got some money in there. And so if you work all the way down to the bottom, the Amendment 1 to the GMP, we've signed a contract with the Kearney School District, and then we will do an amendment each time a new project comes out to incorporate that project into the contract. So this would be Amendment 1. And GMP stands for Guaranteed Maximum Price, so there won't be anything that goes above this number on this. Okay?
Can I ask a question on your bids?
Yeah.
So how many local contractors did you get? Did you guys make a big push for that, or was it just basically, what was your thought process on your bid that you were getting for each?
So we sent it to all the local folks. We didn't have any local bidders on this one. So we can invite, and a lot of it, typically in my experience here, a lot of it is getting on people's calendars pretty early in the process, because if they're already looking for work in this time frame, it may not fit. So we didn't have any.
Okay.
So there's plenty of opportunities going forward to try to get some more. One other thing in here, a couple things to note, I guess. We did include asphalt paving in this, so to mill that whole area back by the mosaic, mill the top 2 inches, put new asphalt. It's several years old, and we've got enough budget to be able to do that, so that's kind of a plus that we get to do that and refresh the inside, so that'll last the district several years. And then also in this number is doing some work at Kearney Elementary. There's a stair that needs replaced from a safety standpoint there, so we're going to do that this summer and try to get it done before school. So a couple tweaks to the elementary school. So this, if approved tonight, we're asking you to approve this. We would then issue an amendment to the contract, and we'll try to. We've submitted for permit with the city, and we think we should have it tomorrow, hopefully. And so if that is the case, then we'll probably start demolition Monday. So the plan is to get started right away, and the goal is to be done before October 14th. If things hit really well, we might be able to turn it over a week or 2 early, but we'll have it done by then. The things that I worry about in this climate are things like light fixtures or doors that have become long lead time. We think we've got a good handle on that stuff right now. We may have to work with the team to tweak some things if we get something that has a supply chain issue, but we're used to doing that to make this happen. So first thing is asking for approval of that, and then I might move to the next typical more things.
So this appears in the board's agenda later, so
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Just go ahead with your report, and then we'll take care of it.
Okay, second thing that I want to talk about is what we did last time for the bond issue that I worked on a few years ago, was we asked the board to give district staff the authority to approve change orders up to a certain dollar amount. And last time we did a $25,000 limit, and that won't apply as much in this phase because it's a small project, but as we get into the larger projects, there are needs of the project to keep it going that you may not be able to wait a month until the board meeting to approve something. You might have to make a decision to make a change and get that done to keep the schedule moving forward. We would then report on all those and everything would be fully transparent, but it gives the staff the authority to make a decision up to a certain dollar limit. We do this with a lot of districts, just to facilitate keeping the project moving forward. So that would be something we ask for approval on, I think tonight also. Is that right there?
We'll get it next month.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we'll have
Getting
it.
ahead of myself.
We can do that next month.
Okay.
But that's, we want that information so the board has it.
Yeah.
Pretty much like we did in the last bond issue.
You were the only one that, were you the point person on that last time, correct? So it'd be,
Mr. Nolan.
okay.
Okay, so some other updates. So theater, you want to talk about kind of timing for drawing package there?
Sure. So we are working on the theater renovation. We are closing in on the end of the DD set, so we will get that sent out next week. And we've been working, we met with the staff earlier this week to run by them where we were, what we had, make sure we're all on the same page. And I think we're in a really good spot.
Yeah. And so once we get those drawings, we're gonna have to work with the staff to kind of fit certain things in around the school calendar. Lighting is here, we'll fit it in when they're not busy. When speakers are here, we'll kind of fit it in. So we'll just have to kind of play that by ear a little bit after working with the staff. And then just big picture, some other things. We're obviously working through elementary early on design. There's some discussions going on with the developer and talk about a property and things like that. So we're all really excited, and we've done some studies with the DLR team to help facilitate some conversations. So we're excited to get that ball moving forward and move on.
Can I go back to your amendment?
Yeah.
Pricing, so million point oh eight. Okay, what was our budget on that?
Okay, so the district has a $1.2 million budget for this phase.
Yep.
We did an estimate that was right at about $1 million.
Yep.
And then on top of that, what we decided after getting the bids in was to include the Kearney stair replacement.
Yeah.
Which is
So I had subtracted this, that's about $1 million is kind of where you're landing, right? So you've got a little bit of room.
Yeah.
On top.
Yeah, so there's no red flags, things are.
Well, I mean, the biggest issue that I was seeing was that with supply chain, with the cost of goods, with, I mean, we're both kind of in the same world, so like, I know the issues you're having.
Yeah.
And seeing inflation play out as well, I didn't know where this was gonna be.
Predicting it gets harder and harder all the time, but we're doing a pretty good job right now.
Do you have a prediction on where it's going?
There are some things leveling, like steel is starting to level out, and we're actually seeing some things creep back down a little bit. Things like asphalt, anything to do with oil, are spiking drastically. There's a lot of mechanical, electrical equipment that's still driving.
Yeah, and it's getting harder to find.
Hey, Ben,
Yes.
Meredith is our new team member. Can you explain a little bit more about the stair? Because I think she sees a stair at $35,000. So you can explain what else we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might need some help. So we're going to replace the stair, and then we're going to do some ADA, sidewalk, and some fencing to kind of block off the entrance exit area maybe.
Yeah, so right now it's an exterior existing staircase, and it's steel. And the treads that you walk on are starting to, they're concrete, correct? And they're just not stable anymore, so we're going to leave as much as the stair structure as we can, and we're going to replace the treads. And then also provide a screen so that there can't be any roof access, because right now we understand that kids are accessing the roof from the stair. And so
Where are the stairs located?
They're gonna be on the back.
Upstairs, second floor, if you walk out and then come down, and so then there's also a lower exit out there, goes to the playground.
And then, once you get to grade at the stair, leveling that out so it does meet ADA, the slope meets ADA, and then replacing, is there a gate there?
Yeah, there's a gate there now.
And, making sure that that's all accessible.
And so to just dive into some numbers, the stair piece of that is worth about $15,000. And then we called it an allowance here because we put a $20,000 allowance on it to figure out this sloping issue. We don't quite have it figured out. We need to do some site visits and figure that out. But once we do, all the savings comes back to the district. We'll get that piece out. But this is covering the whole budget from that standpoint. Any other questions?
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to action items. Bond resolution.
Todd Goffey is here from Piper Sandler. You know that we had a bond sale this morning at 9:30, and Todd is here to present the results of such and talk you through kind of where we are and next steps. Todd, thanks for being here.
Just to continue the great theme of being in Kearney schools tonight with the track and construction bids, I'm going to keep right on going. So we had a very successful bond sale this morning. Did a competitive sale of all $44 million that was approved by the voters in April. We had really a lot of interest in the bonds. Part of that's due to the district's very good bond rating of AA3. And as you may recall, you have bonds in the AAA category, AA, single A, and then it goes down from there. So being in that AA category it really gives you great access to the market at a pretty aggressive interest rate. So we had 8 underwriters that submitted bids on the bonds. We were expecting 5, maybe 6, so very pleased to see that 8 responses came in. We award that based on the lowest, what's called true interest cost, or TIC for short. And so this morning, Mesero Financial provided the low TIC of 3.66%. There were a few others that were grouped together pretty closely, and then there was a couple that were a little bit further back. So we also, part of the requirement is they have to send in a good faith deposit. And so with Ginger and her team, we worked to get that in place. So you've got $880,000 from Mesero that sits in your bank today pending your action tonight. We've got closing will happen in July. I think July 15th is the date for closing. And then once we had all the terms and conditions from the bond sale, sent that to David Reed, who serves as your bond counsel, and then he dropped that into the bond resolution and sent that on to Becky. I know you had a resolution in your packet that had most of the information in there, minus the bond pricing information that was determined this morning. So I think that's been uploaded now, and you've got the full, complete set on the bond resolution. In terms of remaining steps, after your action tonight, the bonds will be registered through the state auditor's office. It's really nothing that staff has to be involved in. It all happens with bond counsel and ourselves. So we'll get that taken care of, and then we'll be ready for the closing in July. So congratulations. 3.66% is higher than what it would have been in December, but I think the good news is that the plan of finance that we had communicated to you and you communicated to your public of maintaining the debt levy, the no tax increase bond election, that remains in place, and so that was finalized this morning. To answer any questions?
How'd you feel about the rate? I mean, like you said, this was the best TIC, but how were the rates overall? Like, I mean, are they all trending up from here, obviously. Were you surprised we were in the 3s?
No, not at all. I was happy that we're under 4. And there are 20-year bond issues. Keep in mind, we always try to do shorter issues here. But you know, if you're doing a 20-year borrowing, you're probably going to be at 4 or maybe a little bit more. And that's probably about double of what it would have been in November and December of last year.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's not to explain it.
You want me to?
Premium bonds.
Would you, yeah, because maybe not everybody's used to bonds. Can you explain to everybody in the group how we went from, you know, the 47 million for bonding, how that works out and how we got to that?
So bonds are sold one of 3 ways. At par, which means an investor is willing to pay you $1 for $1. Sometimes bonds are sold at a discount where they're paying you 99 cents for $1. And sometimes they're sold at a premium where they're paying you $1, $1 or more than $1 for $1. In the current rate environment, the use of premium bonds is very common. Investors like that. It's kind of a defensive coupon in a rising interest rate environment that should rates continue to go up, then the price, that premium price, will migrate down towards par, and that's where most people like to be. So what that means to you is the premium that's generated from the 44 million, after you pay issuance costs, that premium becomes available for your project. So it goes into your project fund. And it was 3 million and change.
So it's a significant number, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
So that becomes dollars that are available for your project. They're not free dollars, you're paying for that through the rate.
Yep.
But again, that can all be repaid within the $1.19 on your debt service levy.
Sure.
That's a great question.
Yeah. Thank you. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay, very good, thank you.
Move to approve the resolution authorizing issuance of the district's 2022 general obligation bonds as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Opposed? All right. 2023 budget.
State statute requires us to have a budget prior to the beginning of the fiscal year. The budget presented tonight is following the board goals, focus on children, your staff, salaries and benefits, as well as ensuring that we are maintaining our facilities. Does anyone have any questions about the as presented? John?
Nope.
John has no questions.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I have a question, but I'm good. I'm not allowed to surprise you. No surprise. No, I'm excited about it, obviously. For next year.
Very good. Any other questions?
Move to approve the fiscal year 2023 budget as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Salary benefit schedule?
So during your May meeting, the board took action based upon administrative recommendation on administrators and teachers. It was step plus 3%. You also charged us to go back and work on salaries for our classified staff and provided us with some parameters to do so. And there's been a lot of hard work done by Ginger and Jeff and Leanne Bradbury and others, and the results of which I think are very, very good for Kearney teachers and staff, but the district as a whole. Kind of continuing the theme here tonight about good things happening in your community. So what you have in front of you is a detailed description about the motions that we would like for you to consider. And I'm going to turn it over to Jeff to kind of walk you through what each of those areas are, from benefits to teacher administrator salaries, specifically talking about SLP and counselors, classified salaries, and others.
So, I want to thank, again, Ginger and Leanne Bradbury did a phenomenal job. Also, put a lot of work into this. So, kind of came back and Ginger said that expenses didn't quite come in as projected, and so we'd like to give a little bit more to our employees. So, one of the things that we talked about from the salary committee is looking to get full board pay. So, that teacher coming in, that employee coming in, their medical is covered. So looking around the numbers, look to do that. So that's a big bonus for them as well. Teachers and administrators, as you did approve, we want to do a little bit more for them, so we added the step plus 4%. Also presented that with our speech and language pathologists and counselors, we have fewer and fewer applicants in there. They have more schooling than your average master's degree. Most master's degrees are about 30 to 32 hours. We have some of these individuals that are obtaining up to 60 to 70 hours on a master's degree. So we'd like to have that so that we can move them over on the scale because of those hours that they've done, because those are positions that are getting harder and harder to fill, and they do a phenomenal job for the district. And then classified salary schedule. We looked at what else we could do with this, because we have struggled with paras. Positions, custodial, also with our daycare, puppy pound, kids club. And so another thing off this is we looked at doing step plus 4%, and then those individual areas that we reported on in the salary committee to see what else we can do more for those individuals in there. And so from the salary committee report, they talked about from kids club and puppy pound, or paraprofessional positions, secretaries, custodial, maintenance, and grounds, and doing a little bit more in this classified salary schedule. We also looked at a few district admin to bump them a little bit more as well. And then we've also done with extra duty step plus 3%. Also to remain competitive with our substitutes, we've raised those on the miscellaneous schedule. So we are one district that, and I appreciate the board still supporting this, that this is unique within the Kansas City area, that we look at our staff that come back and substitute for us and we pay them a little bit more. And that is beneficial to our students, it's beneficial to our teachers and administrators, and so I appreciate the district looks at that and paying them a little bit more. We also did an increase in budding mentor. That's off the Jennifer, Ms. Kopp did the teacher recruitment and retention grant, and so we bumped that and increased that mentorship for young teachers. As we're all talking about and reading the articles of the teacher shortage, we want to be able to offer more support for those individuals. And so we're looking at our staff, giving them just a little bit more to help support that and support those teachers and keep them in this profession and get a good benefit for kids. So I appreciate the board asking us to go back to work and seeing what else we can do for our employees. That means a lot to them, and so I appreciate that support that you've given to our employees.
So this is where my one question, which was coming from before, which is where it takes us to our reserves for 2023 in that 19.5% range.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a super conservative number, or is that a pretty close to spot on number at that 19.5? I mean, Ginger, is that your typical Ginger conservative number? Okay. I mean, like, because when Ginger's conservative, that normally means that it's going to be a percentage or two above that. So it still keeps us in our board goal, which is to be that 20% range.
Right.
So,
Yeah, very close.
which it also shows teachers were willing to go to the limits here.
Well, teachers are our greatest, teachers and our staff are our greatest resource, and as we focus on what's best for our children and having them in a good position, and thank you for going back.
Thank you.
Yes. You know, this has been a process, it's been a journey, but I also think we need to go back to those same people that we're rewarding and thank them and thank all of you for being good stewards of our resources, because we have saved money along the way to put us in a position to do this. And I think that shows a lot of great teamwork by everyone, so I'm pleased that we're able to do this.
Jeff, thanks for everything you've done. I know as we were talking, it's winding down, brother, and so thank you.
From a retired teacher's perspective, I'm going to say thank you.
Ready for a motion?
Move to approve the classified extra duty activity pay salary schedules, revised teacher administration, other district administrator salary schedules, schedule movement for SLPs and counselors, and additional benefit changes as presented.
Second?
All in favor? Susan wants that. Great. Okay. Rescind board policies. Want to explain why
Sure.
we're doing this?
As you know, another big piece of the work that has been going on here for the last several weeks, couple of months, is the changeover of policies from MSBA to EGS. The next 3 items before you are related to that. So in order for the new policies that you had an opportunity to review with Dwayne Martin and Dr. Miller a few weeks ago, you need to rescind your current policies. Your next action would be to approve the new board policies. And your third action in this series would be to approve the student parent handbooks as presented. I will say one thing about the student parent handbooks, that as you know, as you've reviewed those, there's a ton of information in there. And we're still finding formats, we're finding a bell schedule that was incorrectly copied and pasted and that sort of thing. So you'll see that that particular motion allows your superintendent and designee as you move forward with them. So those are your 3 actions in succession here over the next 3 items related to your board policy transition.
Questions, comments? This has been a process that we've taken on pretty quickly and aggressively, and thanks for board members for taking extra time to do a lot of reading, and thank you, Susan, for doing your extra work too. We appreciate that you really work hard on all this as well. And to the staff, some that are not even here yet that have taken a lot of time to look at our policies, so. Ready for a motion?
Move to rescind MSBA board policies effective July 1st, 2022 as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Move to approve and adopt EGS board policies effective July 1st.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Oh, I don't know if that's before or after motion. To accept the policies, the one question I had around the consistent use of the non-discriminatory policy throughout, I'm assuming that's part of this, but my question is, if that, if we find where it's not consistent and we want to add it in there, are we going to be voting on that specific policy? Do we have to re-vote on a specific policy for that?
Yes.
My assumption is yes.
Yes.
When we find those, okay.
And it will come to you just like your MSBA cadence would. As you review, they'll come to you in a month, and you'll review, and then the second month.
Okay.
You can approve.
Okay, because that one I'd like to move up to the top.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
All right, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's something we need to talk about.
Move to approve and adopt EGS board policies effective July 1st, 2022 as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Approval of student parent handbooks. Questions?
The one thing I'd like to have the staff look back at would be the cell phone use policy. And just to make sure that it has enough wording in there to empower teachers to do what they need to within the instructional classroom, whether that's to allow them to use them or, you know, take them away or whatever that teacher needs to do. So, something to ask them to figure out what they think might be helpful.
And at what point are we gonna draw the line that, I mean, like, you know, we've gotta print these, we've gotta get these to kids or to parents to, you know, that these are our handbooks?
You are tonight, and then we'll follow the same cadence here about
Just amendment,
revisions.
just remove amendments and send out to parents. Okay.
The way this policy is worded, you're giving the superintendent, Dr. Miller, and her staff the ability to go in and fix errors, omissions, changes that are non-impactful to your policies in that regard. Something like cell phone use, depending upon how far you go with it,
Yeah,
I would probably bring it back and just make sure there's a full vetting
makes sense.
Were you able to hear all that?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Since this is the last one, I do want to make one comment. I think that this has been a great process for us as a board, for our administrators. I know it's been hard labor, but it's needed for our district. You know,
It was pretty eye-opening.
it was,
Right.
and I think it allowed me, I've read every policy, cover to cover. That that was a lot of reading. That was a late night, but I think it's been good for us to see all the things that maybe open our eyes a little bit. And I think our administrators, I hope that it's been really good for them as well as it has been for the board, because obviously the handbook's what they live by. And, giving them a refresher like this has been good.
Yeah, I think
So,
it's a good fresh start.
Yes,
Just
I think it gives them a July 1st, here we go. So I just wanted to make that comment. I'm glad that we, as a board, decided to make this decision and we pushed forward with it. Because ultimately, this is about kids, right? And this is a great piece to help our kids be educated.
Very good. And the question did come up, and I know Dave is here. We don't ultimately approve the athletic handbook, but I know Dave is going to use these as a guide to make sure that we're consistent with everything in the athletic handbook
Yeah, we'll match
that will
it up.
feed in. So
Good.
that's work for you to do, I know, coming up. So thank you.
Once it's approved, we're good to go.
Okay, very good.
Move to approve student parent handbooks for the Kearney High School, Kearney Junior High, Kearney Middle School, and elementary schools as presented with the delegation of authority to the superintendent or designee to make revisions as to formatting, clerical, or administrative changes as deemed appropriate.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you, Becky, too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Lots of work.
You talked to all of us, lots. Okay, approval of Amendment 1 for the district office refresh.
More questions?
Any more questions on that? Ben gave us the summary of that. Okay, very good.
Move to approve Amendment 1 GMP bid from Newkirk Novak for the district office refresh as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Approval of amendments to professional services agreements.
So you have two agreements in here, one for the theater renovation and the new elementary school design. I don't know if Laura wants to have anything else, pretty self-explanatory, but any questions you might have, they can answer.
Questions?
One question, when are we going to be looking at the potential land for the elementary? If we're going to design something, I know we're talking about it, but are we going to see that in the board? Are we going to see that in an update at our next board meeting?
I believe you will. There have been conversations as late as today at 2 o'clock with the developer in the city, as well as DLR and Newkirk had mentioned that there were estimates on costs related to bringing sewer and water, electricity, et cetera. I believe in your July board meeting, you'll have all the information in front of you to know what the cost will be. And kind of continuing the theme of tonight, I think you're gonna like it.
Should we adjourn before the theme is?
You gotta get lottery tickets.
Oh, yes, that's the thing.
Move to approve amendments to professional service agreements with DLR as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Item I. approval of reimbursement to D. Bailey, which would be me.
No.
It's mileage for my attendance at the recent MSBA convention.
Dang it.
Can I do all three, just abstain? Just so that's clear. Okay.
Move to approve payment for travel reimbursement to Darlene Bailey as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. My gas took goes for a little while.
Abstentions?
Abstentions, oh, yes. I didn't raise my hand. Okay. Board member comments?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and you and the John Deere hat, thank you for coming tonight. Got a couple of regular guys back there, just want to know everybody.
Jeff, this is your last regular board meeting, and I know we will be seeing you for the next couple of weeks, but in this setting, we just want to publicly thank you for your many years of service and continuing service to us. It's been very good for our district and the variety of roles that you have held, and we really, really do appreciate, particularly in the last 2.5 years as we have navigated COVID, and you've been placed in a role to keep a lot of things together. We've had some changes and some transitions. So on behalf of the board, and I know folks have reached out to me individually, but we really do appreciate you. Thank you.
I was hoping to have a video of Mark crying just for you, but.
Any other comments?
I just want to say how nice it is, after 2 years of focusing on COVID, to come in and have board meetings that are actually focused on the educational process. And such a change, and it's amazing. Like, honestly, there were times I was like, what did I get myself into when we came into meeting after meeting that just seemed always focused around that. So to actually now get beyond that and be able to engage in these other conversations about the more important stuff is awesome.
Brian, just for you, we'll have a new strain next year.
Yeah.
Todd Goffey, DLR, Newkirk, Novak. Thanks for partnering with Kearney and being great assets for us. I mean, this is an exciting time, and this is a good meeting, right? And I just want to tell you guys thanks. We're excited to be working with you as well. So I just wanted to tell you that. So thank you.
Becky, once again, thank you for the policy stuff. Dr. Miller, Ginger, and Jeff, going back for the salary stuff multiple times. We appreciate it, all the work you guys have done. It was a busy June and a productive June, and it was exciting. So I know school doors close in May, but you guys hit the ground running in June. So thank you, all of you, for that stuff.
Todd, thank you for this past year with us too.
You're done?
Thank you for the.
You're done?
Yeah. To tie it in.
I don't know what else you want me to do.
To finish on such a positive theme, that's pretty good.
I do need to see pictures of your bus, but other than that.
Well, I will. We'll send videos.
Okay.
And, we'll keep you apprised of the chronicle of the expedition. Yeah.
Yes, we have, as a board, a thank you gift to you.
Thank you.
You did incredible work this year for us, coming in and dealing with us. You can represent that in Alaska.
There you go.
Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Read that up there.
Yeah.
We want a selfie
So that
by
you
bus.
I really wanted to get you a wrestling leotard with a little helmet thing.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go pick it out.
You had some bears in Alaska.
Yeah, it's very kind of you. I appreciate it. Appreciate Brian's comment. You know, when we started this, it was a little interesting, particularly when we sat in here, and to come in here tonight and this is normal, right? This is how it's supposed to work. And I've said this for a long time. You guys got all the right pieces in place, and I think you've got partners that see that in you. That's the reason why they want to continue to be here and support you. And your future is really bright. And I know I said this before about Emily, but you're really, really going to be in a good spot.
Well, you say your, but I think you should say our.
Well, our.
Because you are part of the family
Well, I
forever.
appreciate
So.
that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So,
By the way, can I borrow some money?
Yes.
No, it's the family thing.
Well, thank you, a lot
well,
above and
Yeah.
beyond, so getting us through the year and
All the abuse you took. Anyhow.
mentoring Emily as we go. She hit the ground running as well.
I think
We'll let you
mentoring
go.
us as a board too, so.
Yeah, we
We're
appreciate that
super easy to work with
very
now.
much. And I think maybe we will see you down the road a little bit.
yeah, I think so.
Continued work,
Yeah.
so.
I don't have much to do on Wednesday night, so I'll probably drop in.
Yeah.
Sit in the back.
Okay, well, thank you so much. All right, important dates we have coming up. June 30, 7:30 in the morning, we have a special board meeting to end the year with some financial information that we will help close out. June 30 is the last day of summer school, and we didn't really hear about summer school, but I assume everything's going well. So-
Record attendance.
Record attendance, yes, I did hear that, so that's awesome. I see the buses out there, that's awesome. July 14th, we have a special board meeting, board workshop. Dr. Miller, that's gonna be her first go around with us, and she joins us in just not less than a couple of weeks, so we're very excited about that. And Zach McMains is here with us as well, and he's gonna come on board just about that same time, so excited to have you join us. And then I know Eric's back there too, so I can't see you, but I know that's our team, leadership team.
He just
He's
came
part
for
of
the
it,
kids.
coming in, so glad that
Came
you're
for the
here
boys
today.
tonight, he's not here for this.
So that board workshop will be at 6 on the 14th, and then our regularly scheduled July meeting is on the 20th.
Action for closed session to immediately precede the regular meeting in July, including any record or vote to discuss items and issues allowable under section 610-021 of the Missouri Sunshine Law.
Roll call, please.
Second, I'll take
Oh,
it.
sorry.
You're ready too.
Ready?
She jumped in the roll call there. Yeah.
Meredith Cole,
Yes.
Brian Ham,
Yes.
Dan Holloway,
Yes.
John Kern,
Yes.
Bree Switzer,
Yes.
Susan Mormon.